So something huge is happening with the live-action Gundam movie, and a lot of people don't even realize how close we are to a major shift in how Hollywood handles anime. And honestly, it feels like the kind of announcement that sneaks up on you and suddenly changes the entire conversation. Because Legendary Pictures, the studio behind the MonsterVerse, Dune, and some of the biggest modern sci-fi hits, is quietly assembling what could become one of the most important anime adaptations ever attempted. And the names being floated right now are not what fans expected. Sydney Sweeney is already locked in, but the surprising twist, the studio is now circling Noah Centineo for the male lead, someone who could potentially carry the emotional core of the entire franchise if this movie manages to take off the way Legendary hopes. And depending on who you ask, that's either incredibly exciting or raising a few eyebrows. Because this adaptation isn't just about robot battles or flashy visuals. It's dealing with decades of lore, political themes, and a fanbase that has seen Hollywood fail anime over and over again. So people are cautiously watching every casting update, every whisper from insiders, everything about how this film is being shaped behind the scenes. Today we're breaking down everything we actually know. What's confirmed, what's rumored, what's realistic, and what fans should be genuinely hopeful about, and maybe a little wary of. Let's talk casting, story direction, the production team, the tone, the universal Sentry, and why this project matters more than anyone originally expected. One of the most surprising pieces of information coming from multiple insiders is this. Sydney Sweeney isn't just starring, she's influencing who gets cast opposite her, and that tells us a lot. Studios rarely give that level of control to a young star unless her character is central to the emotional foundation of the story. This means the relationship between her character and the male lead is crucial to the plot, and Legendary is betting heavily on her rising power and audience pull. And based on the tone insiders are describing, this isn't your typical military-focused Gundam campaign. The core dynamic is being compared to a forbidden connection across a war. Basically a Romeo and Juliet style relationship set against the backdrop of interplanetary conflict. Now, that can be powerful if written well. It can also feel out of place if it overshadows what Gundam is fundamentally about: political tension, tragedy, human cost, and moral complexity. Fans are watching closely because romance has never been the center of Gundam. It's usually woven through the chaos, not driving it. But again, we don't know the execution yet. It could add emotional stakes or distract from the real heart of the franchise. Right now, it's too early to judge, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. The film is being written and directed by Jim Mickle, the creator behind Netflix's Sweet Tooth, and this is probably the most encouraging news so far. Sweet Tooth took a strange, niche comic with heavy themes and turned it into something visually striking, emotionally grounded, and surprisingly accessible. Mickle has a track record of blending human drama with large-scale world building and strange sci-fi elements. That balance is exactly what a live-action Gundam movie needs. And he isn't just directing, he wrote the script and is producing the film through his Nightshade banner. That means this isn't a hire a director and hope for the best. This feels like a project he's genuinely invested in. Still, even with a strong creative lead, it's fair to stay grounded. Gundam is enormous. Hollywood sometimes panics when adapting beloved Japanese franchises, and even good directors can struggle once major studio expectations kick in. So while this is a promising sign, it's not a guarantee of anything yet. One of the strongest advantages this movie has, something most failed anime adaptations never got, is that Bandai Namco Filmworks is fully involved. This isn't Hollywood acting alone with an IP it barely understands. Japan is literally sitting at the table. And that matters because they understand the themes, the world, and the emotional weight of the universal Sentry. Legendary has also proven they can handle huge Japanese franchises respectfully. Look at the MonsterVerse. They modernized Godzilla and Kong without losing the soul of either property. So the structure behind this movie is solid. It's the execution that will determine everything. Now, let's talk about the casting update people can't stop debating. Noah Centineo is reportedly in talks to play the male lead opposite Sydney Sweeney, and reactions are mixed. Depending on who you ask, this is either a great career move or a questionable fit for a Gundam protagonist. The reality is that Centineo has been shifting away from his rom-com persona for years. He's taken on action, drama, spy thrillers, Black Adam, The Recruit, the upcoming Street Fighter film, and even a possible Rambo prequel. He's clearly trying to evolve into a full-fledged action star. But here's the catch. Gundam protagonists aren't typical action heroes. They're conflicted, pulled into war against their will, emotionally raw, traumatized, often questioning the morality of everything around them. This isn't the kind of role where charm and presence are enough. It needs depth. So the question is whether Centineo can bring that layered, morally uncertain, psychologically tense portrayal. It's absolutely possible, but fans aren't wrong to be cautious. If his performance feels shallow, the entire movie will suffer for it. Before Centineo entered the picture, Legendary had reportedly been leaning toward Drew Starkey from Outer Banks. Talks didn't move forward, but the fact that he was considered suggests the studio is looking for a very specific type. Someone serious, someone expressive, someone who can handle both the vulnerability and pressure that come with piloting a mobile suit in the middle of an ideological war. And since Sydney Sweeney is involved in casting, chemistry is going to be extremely important. Another major revelation is that the story is set in the Universal Sentry. This is the original Gundam timeline, the one that shaped the franchise's identity. Earth versus space colonies, independence efforts, corruption, political tension, loss, the human cost of giant mecha warfare. It's the most iconic and emotionally complex part of the Gundam universe. But this is also where fans get nervous. The Universal Sentry is morally gray. There are no simple heroes, no simple villains. It's about propaganda, tragedy, and the consequences of war. Hollywood has a history of simplifying these themes into black and white narratives. If that happens here, the movie loses what makes Gundam special. What's even more interesting is that everything suggests this might be an original story set within the Universal Sentry, not a direct adaptation of any specific series. That means new characters, new suit designs, new conflicts, all within the existing political landscape. That freedom can be exciting, but it's also risky. Drift too far from the essence of Gundam, and fans will reject it instantly. Stay too faithful without offering something new, and general audiences won't connect. Despite no trailer or teaser yet, production is further along than people think. Insiders say the script is finished, casting is nearing completion, and the team is preparing for a late 2025 production window. Once the male lead is sealed, we should expect a formal announcement, likely through major Hollywood outlets. Gundam is not just another sci-fi franchise. It's 45 years of history, themes, philosophy, and emotional weight. Adapt it well, and this becomes a new cornerstone for live-action anime. Adapt it poorly, and the franchise may never get another chance. This film is walking a tightrope, but at least the team seems aware of the responsibility. Right now, the best outlook is cautious optimism. There are strong signs pointing in a good direction. The involvement of Bandai Namco, a capable director, a Universal Sentry setting, and the cast with real potential. But there are also reasons to stay grounded. Hollywood's track record with anime, the risk of over-focusing on romance, and the challenge of accurately portraying the complex politics of Gundam. If the writing respects the themes, if the cast chemistry is believable, and if the tone embraces the tragedy and human cost of war, this could end up setting a new standard for live-action anime. And genuinely, it feels like Legendary understands how high the stakes are. So now the big questions go to you. Do you think Noah Centineo is the right choice to lead a Gundam movie? Should the story lean more into romance or stay focused on politics and war? And do you trust Hollywood to handle the Universal Sentry with the depth it deserves? Let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments. Like and subscribe to Movie Sentry for more movie updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.